Tonight we bring you Big East action from Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Syracuse faithful have shown up to check out their prodigal son, Gerry McNamara. The Syracuse Orange take their 9-2 record against the Towson Tigers. They call this area Syracuse South partly because McNamara grew up in nearby Scranton, where he led Bishop Hannon High School to 4 Final Fours and a state championship. Their hometown hero is back with his Orange tonight against the Tigers. Good evening, everyone. I'm Luke Canellis, along with my partner, Stephen Bardo. Tickets for this game went on sale back in July. They sold out in 24 hours, and they're here to see the scrapping son of Scranton, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They want to see those threes, Lou, that they're used to seeing from his high school days and also at Syracuse. But look at what he does for his team. Leads them in points, assists, steals, and free throws. Is doing it all for this Syracuse Orange team right now.
For Towson, it's a homecoming of sorts for freshman Tim Crossan. He grew up in nearby Trucksville, but he'll need some help against Syracuse, and he'll get it from senior Lawrence Ham.
Ham is going to be big tonight, Lou, if Towson has any chance. This young man is almost averaging a triple-double, has really increased his production this year, and has come out extremely strong. He's got to have a big one tonight, though.
Ham leads his team in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, blocks. Tonight he'll have to do all the above for Towson to have any chance against Syracuse. It's the Tigers in Orange next. Tonight's Big East game is brought to you by Hyundai, with quality that lets them offer America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest. And by Advance Auto Parts. For the best parts, people, and prices, we're ready in advance. We're back at Wachovia Arena. Pat Kennedy, head coach at Towson. Second season, it's been a rough go of it so far for Kennedy in his second year.
Yeah, but he's been at it so long, Lou. You expect him to have success. And similar to all his different stops that he's made before coming to Towson.
Starting lineups: Pratt, Ham, Abraham, Crossan, and Neal. Keep an eye on Gary Neal, a walk-on, but plays nothing like a walk-on for Syracuse. Roberts, Nichols, Watkins, McNamara, and Devendorf. Jim Boeheim, 30th season as Syracuse's head coach, and he is the face of Syracuse basketball.
Yes, he is, and you expect him to come out and play extremely hard at Syracuse home south. Look at the keys for tonight's game. Neal and Ham must have career nights for Towson, meaning point production if they're going to stay in the game with Syracuse. And Syracuse, which has struggled on the glass, gave up 14 offensive rebounds to UIC in the first half of their last game. They must control the boards tonight.
They won that game over UIC 75-61. They come into tonight's contest winners in their last 6. Towson, meantime, trying to snap a 3-game losing skid. We talked about Lawrence Ham in the open, averaging over 18 a game. I touched on Gary Neal. He's played just 1 ball game so far. As the fans come to their feet here, Gerry McNamara introduced to the standing room only crowd here at Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Neal played in his first game with Towson last week against VMI, played 29 minutes and scored 28 points.
Yeah, this guy right here can put it in the hole, Lou. Was the A-10 Rookie of the Year in LaSalle University. Put up big numbers, scored over 1,000 points in his first 2 seasons there. Had some off-the-court trouble that we'll talk about a little bit later, but I'll tell you what, he is instant offense off the bench, and he's going to have to be big tonight in order for them to stay close to this Orange team early.
Orange known for their 2-3 zone defense. It'll be interesting to see how they defend a guy like Neal.
Yeah, they're going to shadow Neal, Lou. We talked about that earlier. You'll see the Syracuse Orange calling Neal's name out wherever he is on the floor, trying to communicate to make sure they pick him up.
McNamara's 112th consecutive start. That's the nation's longest current streak. Pat Kennedy at Iona, Florida State, DePaul, Montana, prior to coming to Towson. We're at center court getting ready to tip this one off. Roberts and Ham in the middle. Nichols controls, over to McNamara.
Towson opens up in a 2-3 zone. We saw them working on that in shoot around today. Feel like they want to sit back in the zone besides everyone besides McNamara. They want to try to have the Orange beat them over the top.
Immediately a foul down low on Mark Pratt, his first. Opening moment, 16 seconds in. Towson 3-5 on the year. Syracuse 9-2.
Pratt trying to be a physical presence inside.
Nichols quick jumper hits. Demetrius Nichols.
Young man can score, Lewis. Scored double figures in each of their 11 games this year.
Averages under 16 a game. So you're right. Not scared to take the three either.
Yeah. Nice inside out game. Can put it on the deck. One of those guys that's very tough to match up with at 6'8".
Pratt lost it trying to go up. McNamara back the other way. Watkins. Roberts walked with it.
See Roberts really wanting to get to the rim at will, Lou. Great athlete at 6'9", lefty, so it gives the defense a little different look around the basket, but very quick. Just a little over anxious that time.
Roberts playing the position that Hakeem Warwick did. And no one played it better than Warwick. Down low, that's Ham. Lost it, and he walks with it. Lost control of it once he got the pass down low and then shuffled his feet.
You see both teams coming out with a little nerves here. Need to settle down a little bit. Ham had a good opportunity underneath and rushed it, but you get back to Roberts. You talk about Syracuse, great forwards from Derek Coleman,
Billy Owens,
Hakeem Ward, Leo Routens, whose son plays for Syracuse right now. Andy Routens. They've put out tremendous forwards at Syracuse.
Neal pulls up long with the shot. McNamara splits the defense, finds Devendorf. Keep an eye on the freshman. Free throw line extended, no. Neal tracks it down.
Oh man, it's really sloppy.
Big stop there by Devendorf, all the way to the other end. Eric Devendorf, freshman, played his senior high school season at Oak Hill Academy.
Basketball factory.
Yeah. Played at Bay City as well. Turnovers, Towson with 3, Syracuse 2, and another one for the Tigers.
Oh my goodness.
That time it's Roberts.
The junior getting funky along the baseline there, Lou. I didn't know what he was going to do. Jumped from one side of the state and ended up at the other with the reverse slam.
4 Towson turnovers in 5 possessions.
That's nerves right now. Towson really excited going up against this Big East foe.
Neal's pass batted away. Tracks it down. Shot clock now down to 10.
Watch the three-point shot here.
Takes his man. They'll have to throw it up. Shot clock down to 2. Throws it away. 5th turnover for Towson. 6-0 Syracuse.
Shell-shocked right now. The Tigers, they're not allowing their system to take advantage of what they have. You got to move the ball against a very good defensive team from Syracuse.
Well, as I said, Neal played his first game in the last contest against VMI as McNamara throws up the 3 and hits. Gerry McNamara from 3-point range, 34% on the season. That's his 37th 3 of the year. And Syracuse enjoys a 9-love lead.
Boy, he brought rain with that 3 from NBA range. How in the world is anyone from Towson leaving McNamara open from 3? That's what he does best, ladies and gentlemen.
You talked about Towson being in shell shock here in the opening minutes of this game. Actually, they were in shell shock when Neal stepped on the court in their last contest against VMI, a game in which they lost 80-78, and a game in which they led by 17. You talked to head coach Pat Kennedy. He said as soon as Neal came in the game, the rest of my guys stood around and watched him. And really, that's what we're seeing here. No one's really moving off the basketball.
No, they're trying to make one pass and go. And like we've seen on the turnovers here, you know, just one pass, trying to go one-on-one. You see here, Krausen, that's just a lazy pass on the perimeter. And then Roberts knows what to do with it on the other end. But Towson has to understand you've got to come in and trust what you've practiced on coming into the game. You can't come out here get the bright lights and be a deer in headlights. You got to run your offense, move the basketball against this athletic, long team from Syracuse.
Hughes with 7 points off of Towson turnovers already.
Sure, Pat Kennedy gave him a earful over there about getting into their stuff.
I'm sure Crossan, the freshman, has jitters himself.
Oh yeah,
returning back home.
Definitely.
The spotlight's been on McNamara, but Crossan played his high school ball not far from the arena here. Finally a bucket for Towson. Abraham the 2.
But you see, Lou, there were 5 or 6 passes made. The ball shifted, had a chance to move the defense, and got Abraham one-on-one on the block. That opportunity will be there if they move the basketball.
McNamara makes his move. Knocked out of bounds by Neal.
Now you see what Towson did. They went to a box and one. They're playing McNamara man-to-man with Neal, and everyone else is in the zone defense right now.
McNamara gets it. Roberts throws one up. No. Watkins bats it around, grabs it. There's McNamara inside the line, short. Tracks it down over to Watkins. Great hustle by McNamara. Again, this time for 3 long. Watkins has it, and he's fouled. And fouls on Crossan.
It's so tough when you're the Tigers right now. You look at Coach Kennedy and trying to figure out what to do. He's got a smaller team, not as athletic, and he's got to play zone.
Timeout on the floor. It's all Syracuse so far. They've got the Syracuse fans starting early here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. The Orange with 6 more shots already than the Tigers in this game. One of the reasons why they lead 9-2. Big East came in heralded as the top conference in all of college basketball right now, living up to its name. Pitt, UConn, Villanova, all undefeated. Even the back half of the Big East looking pretty good so far.
It's going to be an unbelievable season in conference play to see how these top-level Big East teams handle the road against the likes of Seton Hall, West Virginia, and the like.
Watkins with his first foul. One of Stevens' keys to the game for Syracuse. Offensive rebounding. Just before the break, Syracuse had 3 offensive rebounds in 1 possession. They must have heard you.
And getting a lot more shots at the basket, 4 of 9. And it's very tough for Towson right now, Lou, when you're trying to rebound out of his zone defense.
Neal's 3 partially blocked there. This time he'll drive to the bucket. Finds Abraham, puts it on the floor, and throws it up and in.
Well, Abraham's having some success against that tall front line of Syracuse.
And I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's using up fakes and just good fundamental basketball right now.
Abraham 6'9", 250. Big guy. Watkins in the paint. Turnaround jumper for 2.
Boy, that's just too easy right there for Syracuse. 1 pass into the paint and a 10-foot jumper.
Every Syracuse starter has scored now. Ham pulls up, fade away, no. Devendorf traps it down, tried to get it out to Nichols, who wasn't looking. 3rd turnover for Syracuse.
See the outlet here. Just freshman mistake there by Devendorf. And you know, Coach Boeheim let him have it, Lou. The possession of the ball is one of the things that it's hard to get freshmen to understand early in the season how valuable that rock is.
Neal throws one up and in. Boy, he did it with Nichols on his back.
Well, we got to check and see if it's Neal's birthday. Boy, that was a gift right there in the paint. He got that one up.
He's a shooter.
Now Towson goes back into their 2-3 zone instead of the box and 1.
McNamara weaving his way around, finds Devendorf for 3. Long. Batted around, knocked out of bounds. Over the backboard, it'll go to Towson.
Right now, though, Lou, what you saw with McNamara, he creates so much havoc when he puts the ball on the floor. The defense has to suck in. He's getting his teammates open looks. They're just not taking advantage right now.
He leads the team in scoring at 17.5 a game. 3 games this year, he's had 10 or more assists in those games. So he'll dish it as well. Neal knocks down the 3.
Boy, Neal can get you back in the game in a hurry right there.
He can get hot too and go on a roll.
Man, he shot that one from Baltimore. Step behind the NBA three.
McNamara's shot wouldn't fall. Crossan had it and stepped on the line. Gives it right back to Syracuse, but Towson right now on a 9-2 run after Syracuse opened up the game 9-zip.
You see the big fella Abraham Pat Crossan on the backside. Likes when the guards come in to help them out on the glass right now.
Devendorf all alone. In and out. Crossan up to Neal, who shoots, not that time. Syracuse on the run. Crossan is called for the reach.
That's 2 on Crossan.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt Towson right now.
Heim looking on.
You hate that for the young fellow, Lou, coming back home wanting to make a good impression. The saddle was too early.
Belmer Coleman into the game for Crossan. Neal knocks it away and finds Coleman. He throws it down. We're tied at 11.
Hey, I tell you what, you see Neal's presence, what it does to this Tiger ball club. They have to pay attention to him on offense, but he's the type of guy that just makes things happen, finds his way around the ball all the time.
Good ball movement from Syracuse. McNamara finds Nichols for 3. Yes. Nichols shoots 41% from three-point range. 6'8", 212. Again, don't be fooled by his size.
Right there you saw, if Syracuse gets those type of looks, Lou, it's going to be a long night for the Tigers.
Prior to that bucket, they had missed 7 of their last 8 shots. What was Towson doing on the defensive end that was confusing Syracuse?
Not much, just really trying to get out on the shots there.
They have been confused no longer. 2 big buckets for Syracuse. Roberts slams it home that time. He has 4.
And this is what Coach Kennedy talked about. Now he's going to have them take the ball, take some of the time off the clock. Syracuse loves the lob play and gets them going. They get on those 10, 12-0 runs and they knock you out. Towson's got to be very careful here.
Neal throws up a 3 short. McNamara to Devendorf. Down low, tried to get it to Watkins, kicked around. Neal picks it up.
Oh, sloppy play on both sides. Syracuse really trying to make the big play every time down.
Good turnover for Syracuse.
See Towson really spreading the floor, trying to reverse the ball, getting this back line of Syracuse to move.
Abraham, shot clock now down to 10. Neal makes a move. Down low, Ham throws it up and is fouled. Nichols with the foul. And Abraham will go to the line. Actually, Ham will go to the line.
Good job by Neal right there, creating for his teammates.
Syracuse off to a 16-11 lead. Thanks partly to Terrence Roberts. Syracuse has scored the last 5 points. They lead 16-11. We talked about the Big East. Now let's talk about the Colonial Athletic Association. Expanded to 12 teams with the addition of Northeastern and Georgia State. Northeastern's really helped their RPI. 7th
in the country in RPI among conferences, Lou, and that's impressive for the Colonial. And you look at Northeastern, as you mentioned, VCU, Drexel, and Wilmington, and we didn't even mention Old Dominion.
Boy, did they put a spanking on DePaul.
That's right.
A couple of weeks ago.
Much improved conference there for Towson.
And at the Blue Demons, their worst loss ever.
After coming back from a stunner against Wake Forest, they beat Demon Deacons on the road.
Go figure. Pat Kennedy spent some time with the Blue Demons program back in Chicago.
He gets our all Vagabond award. Iona, Florida State, DePaul, Montana, and then here.
Hey, we talked about this being a homecoming for McNamara and Crossan. Also a homecoming for Coach Boeheim, who played semi-pro ball for Scranton in the semi-pro league, and Pat Kennedy, who played and coached at King's College here in Wilkes-Barre. Nichols fouled on the floor. Foul on Neal.
You wouldn't really think about this being a hotbed of basketball, but you talk about Boeheim playing here and Pat Kennedy and some of the better players that have played. Bobby Sura from this area. Gerry McNamara, and then now Tip Crossan. A little bit of history here.
Andy Raughton's into the game. He's in the backcourt with McNamara right now.
Andy Rout, boy, his father was quite a player back in the day.
Leo, drafted in the first round by the Sixers back at 83.
That's right.
I was a huge Sixers fan back then.
Me and you both. None other than Julius.
Knocked out of bounds. It will stay with Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse got a break on that
one. I thought it went off of Raughton's leg. But the ref's on the call. Sean Rabine in for Towson.
After that slow start, Kenny's got to be happy with his team's performance thus far. This zone has really slowed the Orange down.
Well, Towson turned over the basketball 5 times in their first 6 possessions. Then they got back in the game because they did a good job of protecting the basketball as McNamara knocks down the shot. He has 5, and there are his mother and father in the crowd.
And Gerry Sr. over there looked like he's on pins and needles, but Gerry Jr. came off of that curl very nicely to free himself up for that 15-foot jumper.
Ham rolled to the bucket and was fouled. Fouls on Watkins, his second. Ham back to the line.
That last defensive possession for Towson, they went man-to-man, Lou. We don't necessarily see them do that a lot this season. And with McNamara with that open jumper, we may not see it the rest of this game.
I think Pat Kennedy said we've played man-to-man 23 seconds this season. 23 seconds in 8 games.
Lawrence Ham having a terrific year thus far. Type of player you love, scrappy, knows his game, Lou, doesn't get outside of his shooting range, typically does his damage in close.
Team leader, captain for the 3rd season at Towson. Raughton's for 3, long. Oh, almost knocked in there by Roberts. Back the other way. Here comes Coleman in a hurry. Lays it up. No. Raughton's to McNamara. The long pass to Roberts, who lays it up and in and out.
Great hustle by Neal that time. Known primarily as the scorer, didn't give up on the play, made Roberts adjust and missed the layup. Good job by the Tigers with their scrappy play thus far.
Towson 5 for 11 from the floor. Syracuse 8 of 19.
Syracuse falling in love with that 3-point shot so far.
And they're a 46% shooting team, so they're a pretty good shooting ball club. Much better than 8 for 19.
See right there, Boeheim telling Roberts you got to be more active inside.
Nichols takes a seat along with Watkins now. Raughton's, McNamara, Devendorf. Arinze Onuaku on the floor now for Syracuse.
Watch the lob for Roberts here.
Devendorf pulls up at the free throw line, knocks it down. Devendorf.
Well, Devendorf's a good-looking freshman. We know why he was a McDonald's High School All-American. You mentioned before he came from that basketball factory known as Oak Hill Academy. He's stepping in nicely with Josh Wright being injured.
Preseason pick to be the Big East Rookie of the Year. Ham with a beautiful feed from Neal. Ham is 4. 2015 Syracuse. As we approach the 8-minute mark. McNamara for 3. Yes!
Showing his range right there. Got to cover that guy when he comes across half court, Lou.
McNamara with a couple of threes. He has 8 and a quick timeout from Pat Kennedy.
Look at Gerry go baseline. He draws so much attention with his ability to score the rock. Finds his teammate wide open underneath the basket. And look at McNamara. Look how far he is from the NBA 3, not the college 3. He shot that from Philadelphia there, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't defend that.
No. No, very tough to always find him and still be cognizant of the big men from Syracuse inside. That's what makes Syracuse so difficult to defend.
First there was Dwayne Washington, then Sherman Douglas, and now Gerry McNamara.
And McNamara has had an outstanding career. You look at his numbers, he's first in free throws, first in three-point percentage attempted and made, 8th all time in steals, and number 6 right now in assists. So he's going to go down as one of the best players ever to wear the orange.
To recall the conversation we had with Kennedy earlier today, he actually recruited McNamara when Pat was head coach at DePaul, and McNamara told him, there are 2 things I'd like to accomplish in my college basketball career. Number 1, I'm going to school for 4 years. Number 2, I will win a national championship. He did that a couple of years ago, back in 2003. He wasted no time knocking that one down.
Well, he had a pretty good teammate, a couple teammates on that ball club right there, 2 first-round picks. Carmelo Anthony and Hakeem Ward.
Matt Gorman on the floor for Syracuse right now. 23-15. Orange lead the Tigers. 7:39 left. Timeout on the floor. Syracuse up 8. All right, I can't figure out, are they cheering for Syracuse or Towson? She's got a Towson pom-pom there. Time now for our Hyundai Cool Facts. And Wachovia Arena is actually also the home to the AHL Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, which is the minor league team for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and also the Arena Football League 2 team here as well, which Johnny Unitas was a co-owner of.
Yeah, Johnny Unitas, one of the great quarterbacks, and the tradition continues right now for the Colts. Pretty good one there right now as well, huh?
Will they be in Detroit February 5th? That's the question. Got to wrap up the regular season first.
That's right. Right now, Towson back into their man-to-man.
McNamara throws up the floater now. Onuaku came down with it, went back up, and was fouled. Gerry McNamara, pretty good effort so far.
Doing a good job. 2 of 4 from three-point land. See right there, both of them have been from deep. And you see the assist there, and that's a beautiful curl off the screen. And then that one right there, really no defense for that last 3 there.
Onuaku hits the free throw. First for Syracuse so far in this game.
Very surprising that we go this deep into the first half. Syracuse first trip to the line. Obvious height advantage, but not using it right now to their advantage.
9-point lead for Syracuse. Neal.
So against the Syracuse zone, you can't hold the ball or dribble. You either have a shot or you need to swing it to keep the defense off balance.
Crossan had the three-pointer there for a second. Gave it up. Down low. Ham. Reverse layup. Yes. Again, a great feed from Neal.
Neal and Ham getting it done here in the first half.
6 for Ham.
Neal, an underrated passer. Didn't expect to see him be this adept at diming his teammates.
Wow, what a move from Devendorf.
Devendorf pulling some tricks out of his bag that time. Getting a little frustrated with Towson still in the game.
Devendorf now with 6. Yeah, we didn't know what to expect from Neal. We knew he could shoot after his effort against VMI when he had 28 and 29 minutes.
He also had 8 assists in that game as well, so has the ability.
LeBoyne shot long, knocked around, knocked out of bounds. Last one off of McNamara. Stay with Towson.
Dangerous territory right now for the Tigers if they want to stay in this game. Down 9. Syracuse can hit them quick. They can be looking at a serious deficit at halftime if they don't score here.
They've done a pretty good job of not letting Syracuse get out on a roll. As Coach Kennedy told us, they like to get out and run once they get a couple of baskets together. Neal down low, and it was thrown to Winston Tubbs, who tried to knock it off of a Syracuse player. Instead, it went off of himself. 8 turnover for Towson, and Syracuse gets the basketball.
Syracuse doing a better job now of adjusting to Neal's penetration. Earlier, he was able to get into the paint and find Ham for open layups. That time they closed it off there for the penetration. Good defensive adjustment in the zone.
Devendorf for 3. No, Onawaku comes down with the offensive rebound, knocked away.
Tell you what, Neal gives this team presence that they didn't have.
Ham lost it going up. McNamara back the other way. And he's fouled by Abraham.
Let's take a look at Gerry Neal. Only his second game here for the Tigers. You see the tough shot there. And that's what scorers do right there. They light it up when given the opportunity. And they showed his really nice passing skills that time. Finding Ham cutting to the basket.
In that game in which he had 28 last week, along with the 8 assists, he also knocked down 6 threes. That tied a school record. So he's got the range. Biggest leader right now for Syracuse at 10.
Coach Kennedy was talking to us earlier about Neal, saying that he looks like he's got a really strong body, but could probably get in the weight room a little bit more to really give him an extra edge in his game. But I don't see many deficiencies thus far, that young man.
Well, especially if he wants to play on the next level, which he does. Pat Kennedy also would like to see Crossan get in the weight room, build some upper body strength. That's Crossan with the basketball. Pulls up. 3 won't fall. Knocked out of bounds by Watkins.
Crossan missed the 3, but that was an excellent job of Towson breaking the full court pressure. Anytime you get the ball in the center of the floor, you have a 3-on-2. Good job by the Tigers.
Tried to get it to Ham. Instead, Syracuse gets it. McNamara pulls up for 3. Short that time. Good job by Roberts tracking down the loose ball. Up top, Nichols.
So right now in the last 2 minutes, Syracuse getting their hands on all the loose balls. Towson's got to be more aggressive like that.
Knocked away by Crossan. To Neal, back the other way. Off of McNamara, goes out of bounds, will stay with the Tigers.
Well, good job by Gerry attacking the basketball before Neal got into scoring position. That's a veteran move right there.
And Syracuse has shown great energy here in the closing minutes of the second half, getting back on defense, tracking down loose balls.
You see McNamara slapping hands with his teammates, trying to urge his guys to put forth the effort here. Only 4.5 minutes left in the first half.
Syracuse in their 2-3 zone. Ham finds Neal, had the 3 for a moment, throws up the floater short. Pulled down by Roberts.
Well, they miss Ham on the backside for an open layup.
Nichols rose to the bucket and is fouled. Abraham, his second. And Nichols will go to the line.
You like Abraham right now. He's not allowing anyone the old three-point play opportunities, making sure he has the hard fouls, but he's got to stay in the ball game for Towson to be successful. So may have been better suited trying to set up for the charge that time. Tough break for Towson.
Nichols had a career high 26 against Davidson. He has 6 right now. Make it 7.
So right now, like we talked about, it's a 13-point spread. Syracuse coming with some full court pressure.
And Neal is called for the offensive foul. He needed the help. Finally, Ham came back to help out, but he committed the foul first.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Looked like there's a little Broadway that time, but Devendorf, you know, got hit inadvertently. Guy trying to throw out the double team, caught a break.
McNamara pulls up, shoots the 3 and hits. McNamara now has 13.
Lou, there's no defense for that right there. He's going off the dribble. and just elevates for the three. That's very, very difficult to stop.
86th double-digit scoring effort for Gerry McNamara in his Syracuse career, and a timeout for Pat Kennedy. 16-point lead for Syracuse, 33-17.
And these are the runs that we're talking about when Syracuse can hit you. They get a three, get a couple layups inside, they get a turnover on an offensive foul, they come right back. McNamara bears another three.
The Orange on a 22-6 run right now. We've talked about this being a homecoming for Gerry McNamara back here at Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That was him at Bishop Hannon High School.
And I asked him, does he still have hops like he did there on that alley-oop? He says he still got them.
They won the state title, went to the Final Four for 4 straight years with McNamara leading the way. He had a big effort in that semifinal contest, did he not?
55, man.
Double Nichols, you better believe it. Timeout on the floor, back in a moment. Syracuse defense has held Towson to 7 of 21 shooting so far here. One of the big reasons they lead by 16, 33-17. Gerry McNamara, 13 in the game to lead all scores.
Syracuse doing a good job on the glass as well, Lou. With a 6-rebound edge over Towson after giving up some early offensive rebounds in the first half.
Tigers are 2 for their last 13 field goals. Why?
Just haven't been able to penetrate the zone. They were getting better looks early on with Neal doing some penetration. They seem to have cut that down, and now they have to beat him over the top.
Crossing for 3. He was 3 feet beyond the line as well. McNamara tried to save it.
Did, yep.
And it will go to Syracuse.
Great effort that time.
Yeah.
Threw it off of Mark Pratt as he's going out of bounds. Look at this. That's the presence of mind of a senior right there. Going down one hand, almost looks like a backhand in Wimbledon, going out of bounds or something. Good job by
Abraham. Didn't see it coming either. Nichols for 3. Well, he's already made more threes this season than he did all of last year and in his freshman season as well. 3-point field goal. Syracuse 5 for 15. Towson 1 for 9. And Nichols has 10. Ball will stay with Towson.
Good look that time by Pratt. That's about as good as look as he's had all first half. 8-footer along the baseline, just can't convert. Syracuse done a very good job, though, of making Towson keep it out of the paint. They were able to penetrate with Neal. They got some passes in there earlier. In the last 3 or 4 minutes, all you've seen the ball do is swing around the horn, and they've taken shots under duress, Lou.
Well, they're forcing Towson to hit that 3-point shot as well, as we have a shot clock issue here.
There we go. See, they've gotten it fixed that time.
They put it at 20. 19-point lead. Turnover. McNamara the other way. The reverse layup, in and out. Neal to Abraham, and what a great job there by Roberts getting back on defense.
Yeah, good job. Roberts didn't give up on the play. You see McNamara going to the hole. Good job by Mark Pratt on the D without fouling, forcing the miss.
Abraham to the line. Not a great free throw shooter. 45%. Right now his team needs everything they can get.
Very surprising too, Lou, if you look at his form. He's got good form from the line.
Didn't show much patience.
No.
Watch him. He'll dribble it and then just throw it right up.
It's more of a mental thing, it looks like.
Look at his form. That time he did. Great form and took his time, but still couldn't get it to fall. Great move there by Watkins to Roberts to Nichols for the finish. Run the perfection, the fast break by the 3 big fellas for Syracuse.
What an advantage to have a 6'9" Roberts bring the ball up and make a timely pass to 6'8" Nichols, who could finish.
Nichols has scored in double figures in every game this season. He has a dozen.
Look here. Ball comes out on the scramble. Nice pass to Roberts. And look at that. Right on the money to Nichols. Right in stride. Usually don't see big man with that ability.
Nichols 6'8", 212. Roberts 6'9", 235. Watkins 6'11", 258. All three very athletic, as we just saw. Yes, sirree. Gerry Neal hits for three.
Gerry Neal is starting to get some love from Syracuse fans. They're impressed with the way this young man can shoot the rock.
Neal has 8.
Back to a box and one on McNamara, but they lost him.
Roberts there fighting for the offensive rebound. Had it and was on the line, and will go to Towson. Lafayette Dublin in. Mark Pratt takes a seat. Coming up on the Nissan Halftime Report, we'll take a look at the Big East Players of the Week and the Rookie of the Week as well. Other college basketball action in the first half. Stats and highlights. Again, it's coming up on the Nissan Halftime Report.
Neal trying to do too much that time.
Evendorf to Roberts. Roberts tracks it down. Back to the bucket. Finds Nichols trailing the play. He's fouled. Wow. Out of nowhere Nichols came.
And once again, who's setting the play up? Terrence Roberts. See Roberts patiently waiting for Nichols to cut down the paint.
Third foul on Abraham.
Abraham challenged Nichols at the basket, but too little too late there.
Here comes Tubbs. He'll take over for Abraham, who takes a seat.
Getting back to McNamara, when you're trying to guard a player like Gerry, you have to almost dedicate one player to shadow him the whole time. Because when you've got a guy that has that much confidence, that has the green light anytime he touches the ball, he's near impossible to stop.
Ham. Dublin shot wouldn't go. McNamara pushes it up in a hurry. Left-handed pass to Nichols at a bucket. Knocked out of bounds. Nichols wanted a foul call.
Pretty quick hands by Lawrence Ham there. Good job defensively without fouling.
Nichols. He shoots the three and hits. He's got a couple of trays in this game. 16 to be exact. That's points.
That's what Pat Kennedy didn't want is happening right now.
Neo's shot wouldn't fall.
Oh, block party down low.
Tubbs needed help and didn't get it. All he got was a whole bunch of Syracuse jerseys on his back.
Syracuse wisely going to take this down.
4-second difference between the shot clock and game clock.
Trying to ensure that they go up by at least 20 at halftime.
Shot clock down to 7. Nichols down low. Watkins to Roberts. Shot clock down to 1. Buzzer goes off. No shot.
Well, Terrence Roberts got mugged along the baseline going to the basket.
Towson will have 3.2 seconds now to get off a shot here before halftime.
Hey, I'd give it to Neal and get out of the way. He's done everything else in the first half.
There's Neal with it. Throws it up. Partially blocked. And that's all she wrote in the first half. Syracuse ends the half on an 18-3 run. Gerry McNamara with 13, just under his season average. Nichols with 16. But it's all about Gerry McNamara tonight. The scrapping son of Scranton is back, and his Syracuse put on a great show in the first half. 42-20 at the break. Welcome to the Nissan Halftime Report. Luke Canellis along with Stephen Bardo. Back at the break in our game between the Syracuse Orange and Towson Tigers in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Big East's Players of the Week, UConn's Rashad Anderson and West Virginia's Kevin Pittsnagel.
Rashad Anderson, extremely good from three-point land, 7 of 7. And Pittsnagel, the big fella stepping away from the bucket, they drained the Sooners.
Big win for West Virginia over Oklahoma, as you see. Pittsnagel with 25 in that game. All right, now let's look at the Big East's Rookie of the Week, and his name, Jeff McDermott from Providence.
Freshman putting up big numbers on the glass. I don't care who you're playing, 16 boards. That's glass man for the week there. Young fella getting it done for the Friars.
72% from the field in that contest. Again, we are at the break here at Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Back with more of our Nissan Halftime Report right after this. Back at halftime in our game between Syracuse and Towson. We are at the Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It's time now for the Big East Coaches Spotlight, brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds. Let's take a closer look at Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim, the 2006 John R. Wooden Legends of Coaching Award winner, also fifth amongst active Division I coaches in win percentage, the winningest coach in Big East Conference games. And this past September, Stephen Bardo, he was inducted in the Basketball's Hall of Fame.
30th year at the helm for Coach Boeheim. Played here at Syracuse back in the day, so you cut this guy's wrist, Lou, it bleeds orange.
Yes, it does. Back in the 60s, played in the backcourt alongside Dave Bing. This Big East Coaches Spotlight has been brought to you by the Oppenheimer Funds. Oppenheimer Funds is proud to be the official mutual funds of the Big East Conference. Latest standings in the Big East. Features Pitt, UConn, Villanova, all undefeated.
And Louisville would join them if they hadn't gotten spanked by the Kentucky Wildcats. We expected a strong outing at the top of this conference.
Bottom of the pack, South Florida with 5 losses. DePaul, Providence, St. John's with 4 defeats. Anything surprise you there?
I like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Went into Alabama and had a terrific effort against Mark Gottfried and his crew. They look strong at this point in the season, Lou.
Elsewhere on the Big East schedule this evening, San Diego State at Providence, Columbia on the road at St. John's, and Georgetown playing at Colgate. Tomorrow in the Big East, Notre Dame plays host to Fordham, Louisville with a home game, South Florida also at home in Tampa. Pitt at South Carolina. UConn plays host to Stony Brook. I wonder if the Huskies will put a beating on Stony Brook like they did Moorhead State. Miami at Cincinnati also tomorrow, and Marquette will play host to Lewis in Milwaukee. We're at halftime in our game between Syracuse and Towson. More right after this. Plenty to cheer about for Gerry McNamara's band in the first half. Syracuse up 22 on Towson here at the break, 42-20 at Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Welcome back to our Nissan Halftime Report. I'm Luke Canellis alongside Stephen Bardo. This is a homecoming of sorts for Gerry McNamara, who grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, not far from the arena. Also played his great high school career at Bishop Hannon, where he went to 4 consecutive Final Fours and also won a state title in his senior season. He has not disappointed the sold-out crowd, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's really shot the ball extremely well like we expected, but he's also set his teammates up, done a very good job of getting open looks for his guys, doing exactly what Jim Boeheim wants him to do. So we look at the first half highlights. Hear the crowd pump. And right there with the fake lob pass, they come back to McNamara when the defense swings for the open trade. And that's a half-court pass, Lou, on the move. That's not an easy play to make. And there it is once again, setting his teammates up off the bounce. Now on the other side, got instant offense, Gerry Neal, but diming his teammate that time in the paint. But that's what Gerry Neal can do ever since his freshman year at LaSalle University.
Shooting numbers poor for Towson, 29%, 2 of 12 from three-point range. Syracuse right at their season average, 46%, 6 of 17 from three-point land. And on the rebounding end, Orange really taking care of the glass, 23-18. Syracuse opened up with a 9-0 lead. Towson got back in the game, tied the contest up at 11, and then Syracuse outscores Towson 31-9 to end the first half. What happened to the Tigers?
It was that run that Pat Kennedy was so scared about. The defense closed in, kept Neal from penetrating, made Towson shoot over the top, and that man right there, Gerry McNamara, took advantage of that, got his teammates involved, hit a couple shots, and off the Orange were running. 13
points for McNamara in the first half, almost at his season average of 17.5 a game. Nichols right now the leading scorer. Demetrius Nichols with 16. Second half action comes your way right after this. Syracuse came in, winners of its last 6, well on their way to their 7th consecutive win. 42-20 they lead as we get set to start the second half. You and I talked about it not seeming like Syracuse was going on many great runs there in the first half, but sure enough, we had our great production crew back in the truck put together some numbers, and they opened up 9-0 on a run. You just saw another one, 13-4. I talked about the 31-9 run. 31-9 run, yes.
Right.
Ran together there to close out the first half as we look at the leading scorers. Neal with 8, Abraham also playing well, and Nichols
really
with the high game at 16.
He really lit it up at the back end of the first half there. Got some really open looks due to penetration from the guards.
Neal double team trap, gives it up.
Boy, Syracuse not letting up one bit. Nice adjustment on the zone.
Roberts muscles one up right overhand.
It looks like Syracuse is coming out like they finished. And put Towson out of the misery here early.
24-point game. Abraham. Shot won't go. Here comes McNamara.
So what's wrong for Towson? They just don't have a very large margin for error, Lou. And when you have those opportunities that Abraham there on the open jumper, you've got to nail them against this ball club.
McNamara gives it up. They haven't allowed Neal to get off. Syracuse hasn't. Ham has his shot blocked there by Roberts. Why? What have they done to bottle up Neal? So McNamara throws one up.
Well, all they're doing is keeping one player on him at all times, trying to shadow him and force him to help defense. He's still been able to shake free on a couple easy looks, though.
Crossen gives it up. McNamara on the floor. Gets it out. Devendorf. He has Watkins. He gets it to the big fellow who's fouled by Neal. Watkins will go to the line.
Watch the scramble here for a loose ball. Typically, you see officials will call a jump ball just to keep from guys from getting injured, but they let them play that time. And McNamara, like Syracuse has most of this game, came up with the loose ball.
Watkins to the line. Junior from Batterson, New Jersey. Averages just under 7 points a game, 7 rebounds a contest. Really the defensive presence on the baseline, along with a solid rebounding game for Jim Boeheim.
8 blocks this year, twice.
He had 7 against UIC in the last game, Illinois, Chicago.
Yep. And 8 against Cornell. So this guy is such a tremendous weapon for Syracuse, because they, in their history, have had long back lines of that 2-3 zone. Just very difficult to score against.
Crossen had his shot partially blocked by Devendorf. Back the other way. Syracuse on the run, and there's Nichols with the finish. Whoa.
Tell you how tough a pass that was that Eric Devendorf just did. He's coming down the left side of the floor, Lou, but he throws it with his left hand. Bounce pass right on the money from about 30 feet away. That's not an easy play to make.
Not that time for McNamara. Roberts took a whack at it. Neal throws it up, and it falls. He'll go to the line for the 3-point play. Foul on Nichols.
Let's take a look at this last play. You see Devendorf never gave up on the play, initiates a fast break. Watch this pass. Left hand bounce pass across the defense, right on the money. And all Nichols has to do is finish. He's been the recipient of 2 great passes on the break this evening.
What are your thoughts on Devendorf so far?
I like him a lot, Lou. He's getting a lot more play because Josh Wright, 6'2" sophomore, is injured right now. He would be coming off the bench at the point guard position, but Devendorf is a sneaky athlete. He's a little bit quicker, jumps a little bit higher, is a little bit stronger than he looks. And now he's at the point trying to free his backcourt mate up.
His backcourt mate couldn't get that one to fall. Coleman has it knocked away by McNamara. And McNamara plays hard all the time, both ends of the court.
Yeah, that's how All-Americans typically do. They lead their team by example. See, he doesn't like to talk a whole lot, but his production speaks for himself.
It's tipped by a Syracuse player, so Towson keeps it. 47-22. Ham left open there for a second, tried to get it down low and gave it up again.
Anytime you're inside of a zone and you're making a pass, you have to make a bounce pass. Anytime you try to throw a chest pass around the defender, that's where his arms are. It's very easy for him to deflect the pass.
2-3 Syracuse zone. Right now it's for 16 turnovers for Towson.
Oh, look at that bounce. See, that's what I'm talking about. Bounce pass in traffic. Big fella, you got to finish that.
If he would have gone up right away, as soon as he got it down low, he would have had 2. Instead, Abraham misses, and back the other way come the Orange. Nichols had it. Boy, he was going to crank up the 3, and instead McNamara does. No.
He's got it.
Neal. Oh, he had the open 3. Instead, it goes off of Nichols, out of bounds. Starting to get ugly out there.
Yes, it is.
47-22. First break of the second half. Along with Gerry McNamara, tonight's game also a homecoming for Tim Crossan, who grew up in Trucksville, Pennsylvania, not far from Wachovia Arena, and led his high school at Bishop O'Reilly to consecutive state titles. Last year he was the Pennsylvania Class A Player of the Year.
And see him with the smooth crossover right there into his favorite thing, the jumper. And he actually approached McNamara when they played against one another when Tim was a freshman, and asked Gerry what he could do to get his game to the next level. McNamara said just continue to work on all facets of your game, but quite a thrill for Tim to come out here and be able to play against Gerry at the college level.
Well, he's had a rough one tonight. He hasn't scored. Couple of assists, 2 rebounds, 3 turnovers. Devendorf the other way lays it up and in right over Coleman. And he's been 0 for 3 from the field so far, Crossan has. Why has he struggled out there?
Well, there's a lot of nerves. He wants to come home and show what he can do. And he's playing against a level of competition that he probably hasn't seen. You know, this Syracuse ball club, one of the better ones in Big East. And you can't simulate the size and the quickness of the Orange in practice. And it just takes him a little while, but he's going to be a pretty good player. You can see he knows how to play. He can stroke the rock when he's open. He's just pressing right now a little bit.
Pat Kennedy loves him. The kid right now averaging 36 minutes of a game playing time, so he's out there on the floor almost the entire game.
Oh, he'll definitely
chance, that's for sure.
He'll definitely be up for Rookie of the Year honors in the CAA. Heady ball player, can shoot it. Sneaky defender as well, Lou. Looks like he's got 24 steals on the year, so you know, young man knows how to play.
By the way, Towson opened up the game making 5 of its first 8 field goals. Since, they're 4 for 25 from the field.
Great defense by the Orange. Speeding Towson up out of what they would like to do. Have them out of their comfort zone.
Rottens almost got caught up in the air. Down low, Gorman, fouled by Ham. Mark Gorman seeing some action here. He'll go to the line. Gorman has appeared in 9 games already. Tonight is 10th. In his sophomore year, he played in only 7 games. And in his freshman season, just 9.
But isn't that a beautiful luxury if you're Jim Boeheim to come off the bench with a 6'9" junior? Not like you're coming off the bench with a 6'9" guy that doesn't have experience. This young man knows how to play, knows what the coaching staff expects of him. And believe me, sometime in the Big East season, he's going to be counted on.
Gerry McNamara's roommate. There's Crossan for 3, and he hits. Good to see him knock down the triple.
That's big for the young fella. He can settle down now a little bit.
And you can see it in his eyes. We just had an ISO shot of him there, and you could just see him settle down, feel much better.
What do you say, about time, huh?
You don't win a couple of state titles, and there at the other end is Neal hitting the 3. And you're named the Class A Player of the Year in the entire state of Pennsylvania, and not a pretty good basketball player.
Oh no, and he found his teammate right there streaking on the other side.
Neal with 13 now. McNamara, no.
Well, that 3 energized Crossan. He's all over the place right now.
Yeah, he's a different player. Watch him. There again for 3. No, not that time. Rottens pulls it down.
Feeling it right now. Oh, good strip.
Neal all the way, throws it up, no. Rottens with the foul. Neal will go to the line. 51-28 Syracuse.
Talking about Gerry Neal, very interesting story about that young man, how he found his way to Towson. A walk-on player right now, Lou. Had some trouble off the court at LaSalle University, was charged with rape, but was acquitted of the charges. His brother lives very close to the campus, suggested that he come and take a look at Towson. Was able to come and talk to Coach Kennedy, finds himself on the team, and what a gift for Pat Kennedy and his program. Young man is probably the best player in that area right now.
Yeah, the Baltimore area. Not only is he a very good basketball player, one heck of a student as well. A 3.0 grade point average.
His father works in Homeland Security. So quite a story for this young man that found his way on this Towson Tiger Ball Club.
He'll graduate in May, but will stick around for his senior season, or at least his head coach hopes so.
Tell you what, if he keeps scoring 28 points off the bench in 29 minutes, he may get more looks than coach would like him to at the next level.
Louis McCroskey gets the ball in. McCroskey seeing his first action in this game. McNamara, nice feed down to Watkins, but Watkins was fouled before the shot went up.
Boy, people don't really understand how quick Gerry McNamara is with the rock. Splits 2 defenders. Watch this, Lou, how low he gets on his dribble. Boom, right there. Splitting 2 defenders. Nice shovel pass inside.
By the way, 4th foul on Neal. He also has 7 turnovers. It's been a rough go of it this second game for him and Towson.
VMI is a pretty good team, but I don't know how well they match up against these Syracuse Orange.
No. Ham called for the foul that time, and Roberts will go to the line. Terrence Roberts, I told you that he was taking over for Akeem Warwick, and interesting because apparently whenever he has a question or needs advice, something that he's not sure about when it comes to playing the college game, he'll get right on the phone and call Warwick.
Yeah, I think it's funny too. I bet he calls Ward to see how that NBA life is treating him. Probably tell him to come to Western Union and send him some loot up to Syracuse. Help the young fella out.
Warwick, last year's Big East Player of the Year, 2-time All Big East first teamer. Syracuse keeps it, and Nichols hits the 3. Wow. This guy's got 21.
I tell you what, McNamara can shoot the 3, but boy, they've got another one there on the wing.
4th time this season he's scored more than 20 in a game.
Oh man, set him up once again.
Not that time. Back the other way we'll go. Foul on Watkins. his third.
Well, Watkins has been a little bit inconsistent as we look at Nichols. Boy, he really needs to take Gerry McNamara out for a steak dinner after this game. You see all of his looks, Lou, from his teammates, setting him up really nice, whether through penetration or kick out. Sweet stroke.
There's Crossan for three, his second 3.5.
Another sweet stroke right there from the young fella, and Boeheim doesn't like that.
The success of Syracuse, Stephen, is really dependent in large part on the four-member junior class of Nichols, Roberts, Watkins, and McCroskey, but especially Nichols, Roberts, and Watkins. And they know what they've got in McNamara, but it was the three juniors that they were really hoping would take them to the next level.
I see right there, you got to know that Terrence Roberts is back there. Velmer Coleman. That's a freshman mistake because Roberts is not one to throw alley-oop over.
Syracuse keeps it. They lead by 21. Opened up the half, up 22. Nichols, yes again. Holy cow. 23 for the junior.
And now, Lou, you know when the shooters get hot when they don't hit the rim. He's starting to hit on net now, so they might have to knock him against the arm or hit him in his head or something to get him out of his game.
Back the other way. McCroskey to you-know-who. Oh, man. This is his playground tonight.
Wow. Syracuse out on the break and just making it look easy right now.
25 for Nichols. Again, his career high is 26. He scored 26 against Davidson earlier this season. Back the other way. McNamara. Syracuse with numbers. Watkins blows the jam. McCroskey, right place, right time. Throws it up. It goes in. He'll go to the line for three.
Wow. Louis McCroskey, the junior out of the Bronx, gets his opportunity right there off the miss.
All Syracuse here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. McCroskey with the finish. 27 the lead. The Syracuse fans delirious right now. They're up 27, their orange jars, 60-33, 10:47 left to play in this one. Let's take a look now at a game-changing performance brought to you by Pontiac.
See Nichols right there, the recipient of some beautiful passes from his teammates. McCroskey comes off the bench from the boogie down Bronx, laying the dime down for Nichols, and all he had to do was finish. These are the type of games, Lou, that a Syracuse team can really gain some confidence and learn a little bit about themselves. They can try a few different things with a 27-point lead.
Nichols started 15 games his freshman season. Then he started the first 8 last year, but then he was slowed by a bad back and really struggled, especially with his three-point shot. Last 2 months of last season, he shot just 3 of 20 from three-point range. But here to open up the 2005-2006 season, Nichols has been terrific tonight with his 4th 20-point effort of the season.
Well, he got in rhythm early with a couple easy looks, and when a shooter gets those first couple to go, boy, the basket looks really big.
McNamara's shot falls, and he'll go to the line for 3. Nichols weighed 190 pounds when he came to Syracuse. Last season he was listed at 212. As we take a look at the shot by McNamara. This past summer, thanks to an offseason weight program, Nichols has his weight up to 218 right now. He's a junior. How much more weight would you like to see him put on before he goes to that next level?
Well, you look at Nichols, and when you have back problems, you got to be careful about how much weight you put on because you're adding extra stress on that area. For him, he's going to have to really look at his midsection and gain a lot of strength in that area to take pressure off his back. But he's a pretty good sized player right now from what I can see.
Syracuse 16 fast break points so far in this game. Luke Canella, Stephen Bardo, Big East action. We're in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Syracuse and Towson going at it. Game was tied at 11 early on, but it's been all orange since. McNamara hits the three.
Nice dribble weave from Mikrowski as McNamara came back towards his teammate. Got the handoff for the easy jumper.
He has 19 3-3s in this game.
And we're taking a look at Towson and their schedule coming up, their conference schedule. They've got some tough ones, Lou. We talked about the conference RPI being number 7 in the country, surprisingly.
All the way to the bucket. Neal throws one up and in.
They've got a tough matchup at home against Old Dominion early January, and then they go to UNC Wilmington. Another one at VCU, and then they end the season at home against Northeastern.
Their next game is Friday afternoon against Lehigh. Watkins' turnaround jumper falls.
So they'll have an uphill battle this year in a much improved Colonial Athletic Association.
Pat Kennedy had high expectations with this Tigers team. His first full recruiting class. Back the other way. Watkins finished, but it was still hanging in the cylinder, so they will take away the bucket. But the coaches, SID's media, they picked the Tigers to finish 11th in the CAA. Other scores on our ESPN USA Today Top 25 scoreboard. Oh, Memphis losing.
Yeah, you're not surprised by the Gonzaga team, though. Adam Morrison led.
You and I had the chance to check out Memphis Midnight Madness time. They've got some freshmen over there.
Yes, they do.
McCroskey to the other end, no. Knocked around. McNamara keeps it.
And Memphis' point guard Washington and their small forward Rodney Carney are two of the best in the country at their position. So those freshmen are able to come in and really perform well because they have the pressure taken off of them. Now right there, Lou, I wanted to show you something. That's a lost art in the game of college basketball. A simple post feed. You saw McNamara get the correct angle, nice bounce pass, leading Roberts to the basket.
Why don't we see it like as much as we should?
It's just a lost art, I think, because the game has gotten so much more athletic. Guys rely on their athleticism a lot more than just pure skill. But he was at a 45-degree angle. He looked the defensive way, led with the bounce pass. All Roberts had to do was go to the basket. That's a lost art in the game today. Good job by Gerry McNamara.
McNamara with a great game so far. 19 points. 4 3-pointers. 69-37, Syracuse up.
You know, we were talking to Coach Kennedy earlier today, and he talked about his Tigers being able to schedule some other games here at Wachovia Arena. Loves coming to the area, hoping that he can get some other pre-conference games here in the future.
Boyne gives it up. McNamara finds McCroskey to the bucket. Runs over Coleman, follow McCroskey. Timeout. 7:53 left. Syracuse up 32.
Scholarships $3 and all proceeds.
Syracuse leads Towson 69-37. 7:53 left to play in this game. The Orange on their way to their 10th win of the season. 7th in a row. Towson 3-5 before tonight. Demetrius Nichols, our defensive player of the game, brought to you by Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing, and why not? Look at the numbers.
4 steals, 3 blocks, and 5 rebounds in addition to supreme offensive game he's had. Almost like he's trying to take some of the thunder away from McNamara.
Neal's shot goes down, you're right. But that's a nice 1-2 punch. You get those two guys going.
Oh, I'm sure Gerry doesn't mind. Nichols coming out here having the game that he's had thus far.
Syracuse 27-7 last season. They lost in the first round of Vermont. And then they lose 3 starters to graduation. Warwick, Craig Forth, Josh Pace. Some had him finishing, upper third of the Big East. Shot clock down to 7. McNamara makes a move over to Nichols, knocked out of bounds by Neal. Well, they look pretty darn good. I mean, I see them at the top of the Big East ever since they lost that second game in a row to Bucknell back in November after that Florida loss. They have just turned it on with 7 wins in a row should they win this one, and it looks like they will with ease.
Well, that was the first time in their program's history they lost back-to-back games in November, so that was a wake-up call for the Orange. I'm sure Boeheim let them know about it, and they responded very well. But, you know, Lou, you look at the schedule, and Syracuse, this is the first time they've left the state of New York. All their games up until this point were in the state of New York. I think Coach Boeheim knew he had to give his team an opportunity to gain some experience, gain some confidence before going in to the Big East play.
Well, and you played on a Final Four team at Illinois. How important is that with a young team? And they're not real young, but they're led by a senior and a few juniors, 4 juniors when you add McCroskey to that trio, and some young guys. Devendorf's a freshman. How important was it to play a number of games at the Carrier Dome before hitting the road?
I think it's extremely important because you're looking at a Big East conference that's arguably the best in college basketball history up and down the conference. And so you take an already tough Big East conference, you lose a Hakeem Ward, you lose a first-round draft pick. Now you've got to come in, you got to be competitive. I think it was a smart move by Boeheim.
Nice strong move there by Onuaku. And he'll go to the line for the 3-point play. Let's revisit your keys to the game that we talked about prior to tip-off.
Well, the Tigers needed Neal and Ham to have career nights, and that has not happened with only 39 points here. You know, I don't know, C minus D maybe on that one. And Syracuse controlling the glass, I'd give them an A tonight. Besides, early in the first half, they've really dominated both the offensive and defensive ends of the floor.
At one point in that first half, 2 different possessions, they had 3 offensive rebounds. So they came and they knew that they had to own the boards against Towson. Back the other way, Tubbs with the bucket.
Well, it's interesting that Syracuse played a team similar to Towson before this game. They played a UIC team, University of Illinois Chicago team, that was undersized, but that's much more physical than this Tigers team that we're looking at. Really beat Syracuse up on the glass, and I think Boeheim and his crew have adjusted very nicely tonight's ball game.
Yeah, that was their previous game. 75-61. They still beat Illinois Chicago in that contest. But as you said, they got beat up pretty good by the Flames, despite winning that game.
Syracuse plus 12 on the glass. And tell you what, it's so good to learn lessons when you can still win the game like Syracuse has been able to do.
Nichols takes a seat. A nice round of applause here, and why not? He's done a little of everything on the floor tonight. Our Cooper Tires defensive player of the game, and he also had 25 points in this contest.
Well, we're just talking about the Big East Conference, and you look at the schedule, the first really road game for these Orange at Notre Dame. A very dangerous team with the ability to shoot the trade.
Yeah, you never know when you go up against Collin Falls, right? Back the other way, McCroskey to the hoop, lays it up and in.
Ooh, McCroskey showing us some of that boogie down Bronx at the hole, a little sugar at the basket.
Well, he started the first 5 games back in November, and then Devendorf moved into the starting lineup, and I can't imagine that McCroskey was extremely happy about that, losing his starting job to a freshman.
Well, McCroskey at 6'5". Looks like he's a little bit better defender, but may not have the offensive skill set that Devendorf has.
Rottens for 3.
You know what? That's a senior looking out for a freshman right there. McNamara knows exactly where Routens is on the floor. Watch him dribbles into an area. And on the right there, McCroskey, and watch this. Dribble it. Nice drop off to Routens for the easy 3.
All Syracuse here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania tonight. 78-41, 4:37 left to play. Let's take a look now at our Red Lobster nothing but net shot of the game. And it comes from Demetrius Nichols, who has been nothing but net on the offensive end.
I mean, elevates from NBA 3 range with ease, as we've seen all evening long, and really found his stroke early. And McNamara and company continue to find him along the three-point line.
Finished up with 25, just one off his career high that he set against Davidson earlier this season. 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 9 of 11 from the field. All in a night's work for Demetrius Nichols. Raboyne throws one up long, tracks it down.
Nice job by Raboyne right there. Up fake, puts it on the deck. The shot didn't go, and he fouled his own shot. Good effort that time.
Nice shot there by Pratt.
Yeah, we were talking about Pratt earlier at the shoot around. Mark Pratt, great athlete from London, England, but just tries a little bit too hard. Seems to never just get in rhythm.
Ball goes out of bounds. Another timeout. 78-44 Syracuse. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Cooper Tires, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. And by Red Lobster, we do it all for the seafood lover in you. Back in Wilkes-Barre, Syracuse in control. They have been much of this game. Contest was tied at 11 in the first half. Ever since then, it's been all orange. Just as the crowd here at Wachovia Arena. Immediately a foul called on Trevin Jackson, who was trying to hold on to Gerry McNamara.
Trevin Jackson was going to get some playing time, significant playing time it looked like, and then Neal comes on the scene and soaks up a lot of those minutes that he would probably get.
That doesn't happen often. McNamara 94% from the line.
Yeah, you could see he's keyed up right now.
Big East football. Rutgers leads Arizona State 7-0 first quarter right now on ESPN. The inside call. And McNamara takes a seat. And they're on their feet here at Wachovia Arena. 8,000 plus, standing room only. There's mom and dad. Gerry Sr. enjoys. He finishes up with 20 points in this game. 5 rebounds, 5 steals. 6 for 20 from the field, 4 of 12 from three-point range, also 7 assists.
Really picked up that assists total here in his senior season. Knows he's got to be more of a complete ball player to help this team.
McNamara played for Team USA at the World University Games, coached by Villanova's Jay Wright. He averaged 8 points, also had a team high 21 assists. Playing in that type of competition, how much does that help as he gets to his senior season of college ball?
Well, what it does is it gives you another experience playing against a different style of play, an international style of play. Then you're playing with some of the better college players in the country. So it elevates your confidence level when you're able to perform at that level. He didn't score the ball maybe like he's used to scoring, but he's able to set people up. And what happens is guys at the next level, whether at the NBA level or overseas, professional level, take a look at how players like Gerry McNamara perform in those international competitions. So that bodes well on a number of different fronts for Gerry.
It's always about sharing the basketball once you get to the NBA. I know a lot of guys come in and they want all the shots, but really you've got to work your way in unless you're one of the top, 2-3 picks and you're playing for one of the 2-3 worst franchises in the NBA where the coach says you take off the shot.
Lou, that's so apropos of what you're talking about, and the young ladies and gentlemen that are listening that aspire to play at that next level. There's only 3 players in the NBA that are averaging 30 points a game. That's LeBron James, who's arguably going to be the best ever, Allen Iverson, who might be the best ever at under 6'1", and Kobe Bryant, who's a superstar in his own right. So finding a niche as opposed to thinking you're going to come in and score 30 points a game is probably more advantageous.
And none of those 3 guys are in their rookie season.
That's right. That's right. You know, I got a chance to talk to Gerry before the game, and he was doing a very good job of handling the nerves of coming home and facing the home crowd. I asked him, how many tickets did you need? He said he left it up to his father. He didn't know. he wouldn't even get into it. I said, man, that guy is smart beyond his years.
Yeah, but I can't imagine anything really rattles this guy after he plays in a national championship and wins a national championship, albeit with a Carmelo Anthony. But he does it in his freshman season.
Oh, and he had a monster year, a monster NCAA tournament that year. They don't win it without him. And like you said, Lou, you take that experience and the rest of your college career
is easy.
Good. That's right.
And Walker finishes. He has 6. I like that guy. Hard worker, 6'9", 255, averages a rebound every 2.5 minutes, works hard. Pratt hits another 3. His second in this game. He has 6.
As you look at Syracuse right now and getting a chance to get some of the other guys in the game that don't get the opportunity.
Devendorf makes a move, throws it up, no. Pulled down by Ham. In the expanded Big East, Syracuse will play every team but Marquette and Providence, and they'll play home games with Cincinnati, UConn, and Villanova. Talk about the Big East and the additions. And one subtraction as well.
Well, the big subtraction is Boston College, and that's a natural geographic rivalry for a number of teams in the Big East, but they do gain a tremendous amount in the Louisville Cardinals. And when you look at the Big East and the schedule that Syracuse is going to have to go up against, it's just tremendous. They don't play home and away with everybody, but the games that they have on the road at Connecticut, at a very much improved Georgetown team, at Notre Dame, like we mentioned before, at Villanova, and at Pittsburgh. I mean, that's a season's worth of road games for most teams. That's just in the Big East Conference for the Orange.
Towson takes a seat to a nice applause here. Freshman. Many more great games to come for Tim Crossan. Finishes up with 6 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Had a rough first half, settled down in the second half, knocked down a couple of threes. Looked much more comfortable out there on the floor, and I thought you were apropos in saying he hasn't played anyone like Syracuse yet.
No, and similar to anybody that makes a jump to the next level, the speed of the game is so fast for freshmen. As they become later on the freshman year, the game will slow down a little bit. They'll be able to see different things that they weren't used to at the beginning of the season. They'll become a much better guard and continue the tradition of fine guards that have come out of this region.
You remember your first handful of college games at Illinois?
Yeah. And
you were a great player in high school down in Carbondale, Illinois. And then you go to the next level, Illinois, the Big Ten. How much different was it?
Perfect example. We opened up the Dean Dome my freshman year playing at North Carolina.
Now, did Lou Henson have you starting at that time?
I wasn't starting, but I came off the bench and had to try to guard a guy by the name of Kenny Smith.
Oh, I've heard
Kenny
of him.
the Jet Smith. And I couldn't believe how fast the college game is coming from high school.
Syracuse unloads the bench. Guys that never see any action. But you know what? Everyone deserves a chance to play out there.
That's right, especially when you...
These guys are the practice guys.
Oh, and they mean as much to the team as Gerry McNamara does. They run the scout team practice. They're in there every day. They don't necessarily get a chance to see the floor all the time. But no questions asked. They love being part of the team. And see the Syracuse bench right there. A lot to be happy about tonight. Despite Josh Wright, one of their really speedy guards, not being able to play due to an ankle injury.
Correct. City. Gorman back to the bucket. Syracuse turns it over.
You see McNamara smiling on the bench, pulling for his guys to get a bucket here. Last 45 seconds. This young man right here.
Coleman.
Yeah. Very high on him. Pat Kennedy is.
Yeah, Velmer Coleman. They're expecting big things out of him, especially with Jonathan Pease out for the season. Well, he really got some bad luck. Pat Kennedy did. He lost senior Cantrell Fletcher and his top outside threat, Jonathan Pease, arguably the best player on his team before Neal came along. He lost them both as Gorman finishes. Lost them both on the same day, August 25th. Pease needed surgery, and Fletcher surgery as well, as he tore the ACL in his left knee. Kennedy knew it was going to be a long season when that happened back over in the summer.
Well, but think how good they would be if they had those guys in addition with Neal.
That will end it. The slam by Dublin. But it was all Syracuse. They took control early on in the first half. Never let up. Gerry McNamara's homecoming back to the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. McNamara finished up with 20. Syracuse wins 86-52. For my partner Stephen Bardo, our stat man Eddie Svidia. This is ESPN, the leader in collegiate sports.